squeaking isn't an emergency until one night I had a screen door that squeaked every time the wind rattled it, and I began to get worried that it was someone as an intruder, and I realized for the first time that poor 98-year-old woman who called panicking, I knew exactly how she felt for that moment. And if somebody calls me at 2 a.m. with a squeaking screen door, I will find somebody to go fix it, because I know she can't sleep, and sleep is precious. Sometimes it just takes our own experience to put us back in connection to what people need. Yes, ma'am?
I have an odd one.
An odd one, okay.
My sister doesn't want to talk about death. My brother has chosen me as his...
Executor?
No.
Or planner?
His planner.
Like a wedding planner, only different.
I took care of my mother's, and then I had a friend who came to the house.
That is a privilege. Absolutely.
It may not be what you wanted in this thing, but...
But that's what he's expecting of you.
Yeah, because he knows I have some feeling for it.
That's a great expectation. And that he has communicated to you as a gift. It would not have been a gift if he just assumed you knew that, and then got mad at you when you didn't do it and came back and said you're angry, which many people have threatened to do.
Well, he won't, because he will drink and he can't do that.
Well, you have to be very careful you don't have a house with an attic, just in case. Just in case. What I want us to be very careful about is that we don't fall victim to what's called the magic wand syndrome, because a lot of times we will look at these expectations and turn them into the word demand. And there's a great difference between the word demand and expectation. An expectation is a wish, although we certainly can get quite demanding about our wishes. What is the difference between an expectation and a demand? When you expect something, what's the difference between expecting that and demanding that? Now, I can be very forceful in my expectation, but there is a difference. What do you think it is between expect and demand? Which one is it? Which one sounds harder or is harder? Demand, right. Demand. I demand this of you. Now, you can be equally harsh by saying, I expect this of you. But there's still an element of something in expect and demand that's different. What is it? Well, you feel you do. Absolutely, absolutely. It's the element of hope. Expectation really says, I hope this of you. I mean, I can be very I hope this, I hope you'll bring this to me. But demand, you take it. You will do this now. I expect you to have your room clean is really, I hope real hard. But demand means you're going to die if you don't do it. Who do you expect things of? And who do you demand them of? Who are you nicer to, yourself or others? Others. We expect things from other people. We demand them of the person who's looking back in the mirror. We are harder on ourselves than anybody could ever be. You and I may sit down with a family or whoever we're trying to provide care for, sit down, make out a plan, decide what we're going to do, get a care plan, however you want to phrase it, and then we start doing that. Mr. Jones is fine, the Jones family's doing well, and then they have a little hitch in their step, a little glitch, and oh well, he was doing well, and all of a sudden, well, you know what, we'll give Mr. Jones and Mrs. Jones the benefit of the doubt. But if we screw up, you look at yourself in the mirror and say, what is the matter with you? Can't you do anything right? And the self-talk to ourselves is vicious. We are so harsh to ourselves. We are kind, caring, and compassionate to everybody else. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, we fall victim to the magic wand syndrome because we start to believe that we do have a magic wand. Other people think we do. Other people assume that all we have to do is wave our wand and everything will be fine. Oh, good, you're here. You'll take care of everything. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to. Instead of sometimes being able to say, I can take care of this piece, and I can't take care of that piece, I'll find somebody who can. So I want us to be careful that we don't fall victim to our own inability to separate and understand the difference between expect and demand. We will take other people's expectations and turn them into demands. We demand of ourselves that we be available 24/7, 365 days a year. We get angry at ourselves when we can't. We demand of ourselves that we be able to work without appreciation And every once in a while, we just would like somebody to acknowledge how hard we've worked. And then when we don't get it, we get mad. Oh, you can't be expecting that, Darcy. Well, I could be expecting it whether I get it or not. So just be real careful that we don't become our own worst enemies. The vultures?
The vultures. They have either heard through a lawyer or through some talk in a town, and you hone in on someone because you know they are going to listen to you, to your advice, and they change their will or their trust, or they leave their house to you, and you're not worthy of it. And this has happened more than once. And I know of someone who's been doing this, and I don't know whether you're ever going to speak of that, but it just came to me.
In what way, who's saying you're not worthy of it?
Not me.
Well, no, I understand it's not you personally, but...
Because they've gone in purposely because they know that there's money there.
Oh, okay.
And that the family isn't going to stand up.
That's what we're talking about right now. So let's move to that. I did not pay her to do this beautiful segue.
Oh.
As care providers, sometimes there are people in the business for the wrong reasons. And that might be what you call a vulture. But let's look at these words. These are words that come to us. What's another word for help? When you hear the word help, what's another word for help? It's a word we hear all the time in our business. It's another word for help. Assist. Yep. What else? Keep going. Save. What else? Aid. When people help you, what do? They give. They assist. They take care of. You help me. Here's another word in our world. Support. What does that mean? What's another word for support? To hold up or to push up or to raise up. When a politician says, support me, what's the politician want? Money. Absolutely. Forget the vote. Just send in the check. Then give me the vote. Absolutely. Or a member of the family, support me. What do they want? Be on my side. Yeah. Be on my side. Right. You, not, which side are you going to choose? Support me, not them. Send in the check. Raise up, hold. How many different interpretations? Yeah.
Or supporting someone in decisions that they're life changing decisions they're making.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You do agree with me, don't you? You do agree with me. And many people will do the game playing and line up their side of the battlefield. It's almost like going to war. And I've got my tanks and my soldiers over here, and you got yours over here. And here comes the care provider walking into a war, having no idea, trying desperately to help this family, and find yourself being pulled in many, many different directions by people who have become very good at this. This is not something a family just creates. We walk into family systems that are alive and well, whether they're fully functional or not, except they are all functioning. I really don't like the word dysfunctional. If you're dead, I'll give it to you. You're dysfunctional. I will give it to you. But if you're alive, you're doing something. It might not be very effective or very efficient or even legal, but you're doing something. And if we look at people as dysfunctional, where's the hope in that? I want to be able to look at families and say, you're spending a lot of energy doing something. Could offer you some options. Could offer you a different way of looking at things. But let's take that energy and see if we can't convert it a little bit. But look at these words. Sometimes support also means help. Help me. What about this word? This word we're never supposed to use as care providers. Rescue. Ooh. What does that mean? It's another word for rescue.
Save.
Save, absolutely. And yet we're told, don't get into the business of rescuing people. Can you think of a time when it ever might be appropriate to rescue someone? When they're drowning. Yeah, absolutely. When the house is burning down, when they are standing on the bridge or holding a very sharp instrument in their hands. And yet as care providers we're told, don't get into the business of rescuing. But on occasion, it is the first step. It's never the only step. So let's look at the way to define these words. And I'm just going to share my definitions. You certainly don't have to take them, but it might give you some food for thought. For me, help is when we give skills and tools. Helping someone is helping them move out of their situation, or more into it, depending on it. But they've said, help me, which to me says, I don't know how to do this. I need the skills. I need the tools. So that keeps me clean. If I'm helping someone, I'm helping them to help themselves by teaching them. I have some knowledge, may I share it with you? And invariably, it's always a two-way street. For me, support is equal to nurturing someone, to supporting someone, to holding them for a while, not carrying them. We'll go through that difference in just a minute. But to nurture them. Maybe to nurture them while they're learning some skills. I will hold your pain while you're learning some skills and tools. And when you're strong enough, I'm going to hand that back to you, because you now know how to take care of it. And on occasion, rescue is the appropriate thing. If you're not breathing, everything else we have to offer you isn't real valuable. Rescue is sometimes the first step, but never the only.